Welcome to Reunite with Self podcast. I'm your host, Rukan. Here, we will be discovering and unraveling what is truly holding you back. We will put the puzzle together and give you clarity on how and what you can do to create massive shift in your life so you start creating the life you always envisioned for yourself. There is no more waiting. Whether it is liberating from dysfunctional family patterns or parenting tools and tips that actually make the difference, we will be diving into the truth and core of things that are simple and which yet no one talks about. I will be sharing with you all the things that would have changed my life massively if I heard any one of these episodes. A new world is awakening, and true bliss, harmony, and peace is possible on this earth. And my mission is to bring you closer to that, one step at a time. In this safe space, I will hold your hand and give you courage and certainty that you can shift anything and everything in your life. It is time we break the pattern. Whether you want to be the parent you never had or make a shift in your life so you don't play small any longer, you will find the support and guidance in this space. My intention is for you to find answers within yourself while you listen to this podcast, so you feel the bliss of reuniting with your true essence, with self, with so much love and compassion and courage. From my heart to yours, let's keep it rockin'. My gorgeous listener, I am so happy and grateful that you are here. Today's episode is something I've been meaning to do. We're going to explore something together. This is a topic that I'm still learning and unraveling, and I'm sure that I'm in the process of learning more about this, but there is something that is guiding me within me, and I know it is leading me somewhere where I will create more clarity on things I never see anywhere written or spoken. So we will explore today some secrets, something so hidden, something really deep. What is the deepest reason for someone to hold back because of family stuff? I'm talking about the family you were born into or the family that raised you. The family stuff, right? What is the deepest reason that someone holds back, that someone plays small because of family? Because you see, it's not just what the family does or what some certain family member does that makes you hold back with any narcissistic abuse, behavior, tendencies, or full blown out like narcissistic personality disorder. We all have narcissistic tendency or people in our lives. If you're listening to this podcast, I am sure you have some certain family members in your life that has narcissistic tendencies in different ways, and maybe you haven't even figured out if they have the narcissistic tendency, but it's just something is off about them in certain areas with you. You don't feel totally comfortable. You don't really play full out when you're around them. You tend to find excuses for their behavior, and all of this stuff. And like I always say, they don't have to be this evil person doing everything that is hurtful to you. It's just some areas, some certain topics, some people that they are different. So, but what I want to talk about here is, okay, so certain people might act in a way that has programmed you, conditioned you to play smaller, be scared even of success, of shining your brightest without even recognizing it. This is like so subconscious, like so unconscious that you don't even realize that you're actually might be afraid of failure, but you also might be afraid of your success, of shining bright and be seen for who you are authentically in your brightest. And okay, so this is a fact. We might have experiences like this, but what I see, I don't want to say so often, but because it's like this most of the time, if not all of the time, you have moments that you can get out of it. You have moments that you are so hurt that you realize what's happening. It can be in an instant, but then you go back. You go back to making excuses for the person, thinking that it is love to let it happen, or not really know how to create the healthy boundaries that you deserve. And this does not need to require you cutting cords with the person, does not need to require you cutting your whole relationship with the person. It might, but it might not. It depends on the story and the person. But what I want to talk about here today is what I see happens, including me. Like, what was really holding me back to see what the F was going on? Why I wasn't able to create clarity much earlier in my life, or why someone, although they see what's happening, although this person and their family does things that they would never do to them. And it does not need to be like big stuff. It can be small things, very small, tiny, subtle things. And subtle things are actually big things. Small things are actually big things. They have a huge influence and effect on other people. It's so easy to manipulate someone, and it's so easy to make someone feel that they're not enough, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just explaining all of this to you. Why? Because yes, we talk about the narcissistic tendencies, what we can do, what's really happening to create the clarity, and all of that. But today I want to talk to you about something that is maybe the whole thing, like why this is happening in such a global scale, in such a huge way. Like, why, especially if a family seems normal, happy, average, if one of the above, or all of the above applies to your family, why it's sometimes really difficult to create that boundary that you deserve, to create the clarity that you deserve, but why it is so hard, why it is so challenging, especially if you have a lot of empathy and compassion and love, because it's so easy for you to see the soul of the other person. And no one's soul is really evil, So you always find some souls I've met in my life that I know that it's really dark. Like, I don't want anything to do with them. But most of the time, 90% of the time, when I have a narcissistic tendency person in my life, their soul is just pure love. And they're there to teach me something. And they're doing it for my good. But I have to take the right road, right? It's not that, I have making excuses for their behavior, excuse me, and just letting it happen is not the way to love. And I always talk about this and clarify this on other episodes, but I want to read you a quote, like a page from a book that I read recently. I didn't read it. I listened to it on Audible. It's called Celestine Prophecy. You might have heard of it. You might have read it in the past. It is by James Redfield, Celestine Prophecy. And I actually had this book, like the physical book, about maybe 15 years ago, I should say. I'm not sure, maybe a little bit more, but I believe it was around 15 years ago, or maybe less, but something there. And I was mesmerized by this book. I was just blown away. I loved the book, and I was underlining the book. I remember the physical book, I was underlining. I was so mesmerized. It was just it resonated so much with me at the time. I could feel that this book was talking about the truth. And so this book is about, like, basically, it's like an adventure story. And I think they have a movie on it as well. And I haven't seen it, but it's about this American guy going to Peru, and they found 9 manuscripts from like this ancient civilization or whatever it is. It's not really, clear in the book, but they find these ancient 9 manuscripts. It's like 9 wisdom tablets of truth. And the governments and the church do not want anyone to have any knowledge about this, and they are against the manuscripts, and anyone who talks about it, researches on it, writes anything about it, or has copies of it is like killed, taken to prison. It's like really dangerous to do anything about it. And these, a group of people are trying to find out these 9 manuscripts and trying to, spread the word and talk about it and practice these truths. And what's so special about it? And I just listened to this book again recently, like a month ago. I finished it. And I now understand why I was so blown away by it, because it's all about, there is a lot about like family dynamics, parenting, how to truly parent your child from your adult self, like with true love, what a child actually needs, what they're actually capable of, how, like, it's there is a lot about energy stealers, like how parents can steal the energy of the child. And this is usually the case most of the time, even now. And people do it without like realizing that they're doing it. And I think I will do another episode on the types of parents and the types of kids they create with their own dramas. I think there is like 3 or 4 types of dramas that you have, like your main drama that you have. And then what these types of drama parents create, what type of drama in their child. It's really very intelligent. These 9 wisdom manuscripts are just, I mean, it's really amazing. It's not just, writing a story, writing a novel. It's, I want to say, I don't know how these people write this stuff, but I know it's like they're like channeling, and they're downloaded the truth. And so I would definitely recommend you to read this fun book, Celestine Prophecy. But I want to read you not a script, but a page from it. And I just wrote it down when I was listening, so it might not be like perfectly word to word, but I was just like, I stopped the book and I was like writing it down to share it with you. So like I said, anyone who has any kind of information, any kind of copies on the manuscript, anyone who talks about it, anyone who wants to share this information is taken into prison, like very... it's like really wild. It's like really dangerous to have any kind of information about this or to be interested in this. It's a big threat for the church and the governments in the book. And so it's like this adventure story. So I want to read you some like a small piece from it when the main character is taken into prison and he's interrogated by a soldier. The soldier responds, "The church feels the manuscript is confusing to our people," he said carefully. "It gives the impression that people can decide on their own how to live without regard to the scriptures." "Which scriptures?" the main character asks. "The commandment to honor thy father and mother, for one. The manuscript blames problems on parents, undermining the family. I thought it spoke of ending all resentments and finding a positive view on our early life. No, he said, it is misleading, the soldier says. No, it's misleading. There should never be negative feeling to parents to begin with. Can't parents be wrong? Parents do the best they can. Children must forgive them. But isn't that what manuscripts is clarifying? Doesn't forgiveness take place when we see the positive about our childhoods? His voice rose with anger, and so it continues. So I was really blown away by this because it just, I just feel like it's not about only a family member's action or behavior that really causes things to be so challenging for people who are highly sensitive, have a lot of empathy and like true love with open hearts. The reason that I read this part from the book to you is because this is exactly, and this was exactly how I would feel if I had any I don't want to say problem, because you can have a problem, but you're supposed to swallow it. If I had anything to say about someone from my family, this was the exact quiet, unspoken, this unspoken energy in families that if you are hurt by someone's action and it's really something that is unfair in your heart, you know, even if it's something small, it's not like just that thing. They've done the same thing or similar things in a pattern. And that's how you program and condition someone. And it's how, like, it's so easy to be programmed. I don't want to make this complicated, by the way, but I just want to share with you that I believe now that it's becoming more clear to me that the system doesn't want us to see things with clarity. The system doesn't want it. And I always say, like, hidden things are more effective. Hidden things are really influential. The subliminal messages and the suggestions that we receive, our subconscious mind, brain receives since we are born. And the system itself, no matter where you are born, no matter what religion you were born into, no matter if your family identifies as conservative or not, this is the crazy part. The system in the world does not want you to shine your brightest. The system doesn't want that. Because for you to shine your brightest, you have to see all the BS that's happening in your family so that you can go up above, like you can create the healthy boundaries, you can clarify and identify what's true love and what's not, what part is about you and what part isn't, of someone telling you or behaving in a way like as if you're not enough, let's say. If you want to shine your brightest, you must clarify. If someone is making you feel like you're not enough on anything and everything, you have to see that it's not the truth. But for this, you have to be free to identify what's true love and not in someone's actions. And so that you can make a change within yourself and outside of you too, creating a healthy boundaries and see what kind of stuff you're exposing yourself to in the name of love, which has nothing to do with love. But for this, you have to feel we must have an environment where we can talk freely about our experiences with family members without shame or guilt. Because what's worse than having some bad experience is that you feel shame and guilt for feeling the anger, the sadness, the disappointment, the frustration, the feeling of like, it's enough. Like, I've had enough. I'm not going to have this anymore. You feeling this and at the same time seeing in other people's eyes the worry that, you might be doing something wrong. Like, this is family. You have to just suck it up, whatever. Like, I am sure you get the point. There can be like 100 of different examples on this, but I am realizing more and more now, it's not just a person doing something to you. It's the system. And we have to be like woke to this. We have to awaken to this. It does not serve the system for you to shine your brightest, because that means you're going to bring your true medicine to this earth. And then we're going to see all the crap that is not true, that is not serving us, that we are saying yes to. It's like, and I always had this feeling, and it's more clear to me now when I would say yes to any narcissistic behavior in my family. And it doesn't have to be just parents, by the way. It can be anything and anyone. I always talk about family here, but you can apply to any other relationship that you have. When I would, just find excuse for someone's behavior and not really truly make the decision like, this is not okay, like this is not acceptable. I would never do this to that person. Or if I did, I would definitely want to know like what I am causing in the other person. And I would be curious. I would ask for forgiveness. I would be like looking at myself, like why I am doing it and all of the stuff. But that's not what you get from the narcissist, right? So, or it's just fake. But how I would feel in my body and how I feel now is if I say yes to anything like this, saying yes, by the way, I mean like just nodding, smiling, let it go by, not be myself truly in the moment. And, call it out. I always felt like, and now I always feel that if I say yes to that, I am serving that darkness. Like the energy is dark there in narcissism. What it's causing me in my life, in my energy, if I let that happen, it's the same exact thing if I did that same thing to that person or to someone else who's vulnerable. There is like no difference for me if I let it happen to me, and if I just, suck it up, let it go by, find an excuse, just smile about it, just let it go. Without really being my true authentic self and expressing whatever. And, it can be any different things that you can do in that moment. But if I just let it go by and even like feel shame for my own emotions about it, it's like serving that darkness, because it's not just that person and that action. It's like, I hope I'm being clear, but it's something that I feel very strongly, but I don't know how to put it into words sometimes, especially in English. It's like I am serving it. I'm serving the darkness when I say yes to it, when I just let it go by, when I, serving it is really the word for me. So it's not just in the name of love doing something that's unloving to myself and, abandoning myself in that moment, but it's also like serving that darkness in general. And there is this thing in the world, like in a global scale, doesn't matter what country you're from, you don't have an environment where you can talk about your family stuff in a healthy way with other people, either to your other family members. It can be people around your age, or to close family friends, or to your friends. Like most of the time, most of the time, the response that you get, the response that you have gotten all your life. And I am realizing that it's not just the family or the person. If the system doesn't want you to call it as it is, you don't have to. The boundary you might create afterwards can be a lot of different things. But the way the system makes you scared of your own self and how you shush and let it go by and go to the same event or thing with the same hope again, and still like feeling the same thing over and over and over, like experiencing the same thing over and over, and everyone being okay with it. As long as it's your family, people being okay with it. No one's going to ask you, are you really truly being seen? Are you really truly doing the things to shine bright? What are you letting people do to you in your family? So I am realizing you don't need to believe in any kind of religion. You don't have to be conservative. You don't, and which is like even more dangerous, I believe, because the more hidden it is, it's more influential. So it might seem as if you have a normal family, happy family. They're not necessarily conservative, and they might be, doesn't matter. But there is this energy, there is this system in the world that does not want you to wake up to your own truth, because your power is infinite. What you are capable of would really blow your mind if you start creating that life. What we are capable of is really infinite, and what is the number one thing that stops you from creating that? It's not just like, it's not your school teacher. It's not you. It's not the society. It's not social media. It is first, the root cause is family. And it doesn't need to mean that they were bad people, good people. Like I don't care about this. It's not what the conversation is about. It's about the actions and behaviors and their consequences. It's not about the person's personality or character. Yes, we talk about narcissistic behavior here, but I'm really never interested in calling people good, bad, evil. Like I'm not interested in that, because it's not what it's about. And that's the thing, because that has been the thing that has been stopping you to call something out and just saying, it hurts. It hurts when you say this thing. It hurts when you said this thing. It hurt me. It hurt me. That's it. That's the only thing that you need to be able to express your emotion, what you felt, what you feel, and for it to be confirmed, like validated. Your emotion to be validated without being evaluated, or without you being evaluated for feeling that. Like zero of that stuff. So I just wanted to open this conversation, and I'm still exploring this. I'm still I can't really say learning because I am learning by experience. It's not something we hear about. I've never seen anyone talking about this really, but it's just the system. The system does not want you to really wake up to what has happened, because when you wake up to what has happened, it is the beginning of the journey for you to wake up to your true potential. But it is our comfort zone. Like if you are an empath, if you have a lot of empathy for people, if you are a highly sensitive soul, which I am all about in this podcast, if you are a compassionate being, if you have an open heart, it's your comfort zone to find excuses for narcissistic behavior people in your life. It's your comfort zone. It's not uncomfortable for you. It's not unfamiliar to you. It's your comfort zone. So it's time we get out of our comfort zone and see things for what they are. Because trust me, that's what's gonna be loving, truly loving at the end of it all. And the world needs your medicine more than ever. The world needs you to start creating your incredible life. Be in your highest power. Be in your fullest, brightest shining, so that you bring about your gifts to others. It is time for you to hold your power, own your power, hold your strength. And power, I mean in a very, very loving way. I don't mean the egotistical power. I mean the power that you hold as a soul. And you have gifts to share with other people. The world needs your medicine more than ever now. But just know that it's not just your family or this person or that person in your family. It's the system. The people are so scared of you finding it out, so they have to do the same. But it's so easy for us to find excuses for other people's crappy behavior. That's not necessary. And we don't have to. I'm just saying this. You might need to, but I'm just saying you might not need to cut them off from your life, even have a face-to-face with them about it. Like depending on all the what's really happening, the narcissistic persons, like their type, let's say, like what they do, how they function. And I will do different episodes on all of this, like what to do specifically by giving examples. But I just wanted to share this episode with you today because it's the system. The system is built on this. So as in the book, it says the church and the government is scared, but it's really, it does not need to be a conservative religion you need to come from or a conservative country. It's the world in a global scale. That's why family is put on a pedestal, and family is such a sacred thing. It's where we must feel so safe to be seen for who we are truly, authentically. It's where we come back to share our experience in its fullest expression and just be seen, be witnessed without evaluation. And we can talk about this on another episode, like what family is really about and what we are experiencing now in the world. Like, is it really that sacred thing, or it's just given that name, it's told that way, but it's not the experience at all. It's completely different. It's sometimes where you feel alone the most. It's where you are hurt the most. And by the way, for a healthy family, it doesn't need to be perfect. It's very natural and human for you to feel hurt. But I'm talking about the very toxic situation right now where there is no true repair. And for the empaths, the compassionate ones are hurting more because they're finding excuses for the other person. But a narcissistic tendency person might own their pain more and share it more openly and owning it. You know, if they're bothered by something, they make you feel it. They own it. But if you're an empathetic person, a sensitive, highly sensitive person, it's not so easy for you. And what's happening to you is actually very unloving. It's where there is a lack of love. And it doesn't mean that you need to cut them off, that they're bad people, because that's all of the stuff that the system is threatening you with. Aren't you a good family person? Like, that's what it's threatening you with. Are you the one bringing about the problem? Like, as if there is no problem, but if you express how you feel, your hurt, your anger, whatever it is, you're the one causing the problem, which is not the case. But this is something to talk about. This is something to explore, to think about, and to awaken to. Because the system is like this and it's BS. Because if it's really truly that sacred family, that should be very open to exploring what I have done, what you have done, what it has caused in you, how you're feeling. It should be very open. It should be a very safe space to talk about this stuff without evaluation, you know? And with like total acceptance, so much compassion and love, and feeling like being accountable, everyone being 100% accountable for their behavior, and being very, very open to people's different experience and validating someone's behavior without questioning it or making them question it. I hope I didn't make anything complicated today, but I'm sure if you came across this, I'm sure you resonated with it. And I hope it, awakens something in you, and you realize something about your situation, the whole situation. So we come closer to truth. But I know this, the deepest reason why it's very challenging for people to really create their incredible life is not just the people's behavior and what they've conditioned in their family. The deep, deep, deep thing is we're almost as if like told a lie. And it's supposed to be that way. Like, family is supposed to be sacred. Family is supposed to be where, we feel joy and bliss and harmony. Doesn't necessarily mean that we don't have any challenging moments. We should definitely have that too. It's like a humane experience. We're supposed to. But like I say, the healthy way is with repair, acceptance, openness, and all of the stuff that I just talked about. But I don't see it happening. So, it's I am sure we are on the journey of waking up to the truth. And the more people that are woken or start creating their incredible life, we're going to start realizing what really family is about, what it can really truly be without us being perfect. It does not require us to be perfect or totally healed, for us to be able to feel the holding hands, the true feeling of family, holding hands as souls. I love you so much. Thank you for listening. And please DM me on my Instagram, noted on the episode notes. Kevela on my Instagram. DM me if you have any questions, if you want me to talk about something. I love you, and I will see you on the next one. My gorgeous listener, if you had any takeaways from this episode or from this podcast in general, I would love to know. Please share this episode with a few loved ones right now. You never know how they can benefit from something so small. And please take a screenshot of this episode and share on IG, tagging me at Kevela, that is Khela,
Wella, Kevela. That is my goddess wear brand, my Instagram page. I would love to know what your takeaway was or something you found inspirational or a confirmation you believe in as well. That would make my day. And you can always DM me if you have a topic or a certain question in mind that you want me to talk about. And give me a 5-star rating if you feel like it. That would help this podcast immensely to get the word out. I love you. See you on the next one. I want to see you shine your brightest.